Good evening. It is Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. This is a public meeting of the Greenfield Public Schools. It's a special school committee meeting. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. This meeting is being held fully remotely in accordance with the Governor of Massachusetts March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Ledger C30A, Section 20. And GCTV is recording this meeting. Is anyone else recording this meeting? If you are, please speak up now. You will be on mute. Unmute and speak now if you are recording.
Amy, are you planning to record through the webinar platform?
I actually turned it on already. Thank you, Glenn. Yes, it is. I am also recording.
Great.
Okay, hearing no other recorders, I'd like to start with a roll call.
Member Karen?
Here.
Vice Chair Extra is away. Member Hollins?
Here.
Secretary Johnson-Musad, I'm here. Chair Prietti?
Here.
Member Wall?
Here.
Mayor Wiedegardner? We have a quorum.
She's also away. Yes. Awesome. We have quorum. Thank you. We're going to move into public comment now, and we're going to do it in two phases. And Member Johnson-Musad will be organizing the order, and either Member Johnson-Musad or myself may interrupt you to make sure that we have your name correct, and also that you state the town that you live in. That's important. And each commenter this evening will be given 5 minutes, and that will be timed by the school committee. So the first folks that we will ask to step forward for public comment are those who are not on the WebEx, but are actually called in and don't have the ability to put anything in the chat indicating they'd like to comment. If you could just speak up and make sure we get you, and we will get started. Anyone on the line interested in public comment? You may have to unmute yourself to tell us.
Amy, if you muted people who called in, do they have a way of unmuting themselves?
It should be on their phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Could you just unmute everyone to make sure people can tell you
Oh, let's see if I can do that.
for a second, maybe?
Unmute all. Everyone is unmuted for 1 second. If you would like to do public comment and you're on a phone call, go ahead and let us know now.
Yeah.
Going once, going twice. I'm not hearing anyone. Everyone was muted all at once. So those of you, Member Johnson-Musad, Recording Secretary Farber, the superintendent, you may need to unmute yourself. Everyone else is now muted. So we'll move on to folks who would like to make a public comment who are on the line and are able to indicate on the chat that you would like to make a comment. You can go ahead and type that in now. You, Member Johnson-Musad, Recording Secretary Farber, the superintendent, you may need to unmute yourself. Everyone else is now muted.
I'm watching the chat and so far not seeing anyone coming forward for public comment.
Okay, we'll give another few seconds. Okay, hearing none, I am going to move into the chair's report. I have a few things to report before we move forward. The first thing I want to say is, in addition to the wonderful public contributions we got at the Thursday meeting last week, we also have received emails. People have stopped school committee members to talk to them. We've gotten phone calls. And all of that feedback is appreciated, and we listen to it, and we do our best to respond to everything. I will freely admit I'm probably 3 days behind in responding to emails that have come in since the weekend. But I do my best to respond to each of those individually, and we are actively following up on ideas that seem plausible for the district. So if you've got something and you want to talk about it, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's not too late, and things continue to move forward. And the next thing that I would like to talk a little bit about is our timeline from here. There's so many questions about how the timeline is working, and so we'll start with on after last Thursday, and we voted to endorse all 3 of the plans put together by the GREAT committee. We on the 31st, I'm sorry, someone has some real feedback. If the school committee members, or I don't know, I think everyone was muted. If people could just make sure they were muted, that would be helpful. Someone's got some feedback that I'm
Or if
hearing.
Amy, if you could please again mute everybody. I'm not sure that folks know how to do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. There we go. Okay, much better. Thank you. I was getting a little bit of an echo. So the plans were submitted on 7/31, and immediately, literally that day, the GREAT team continued to meet. They are finalizing all of the plans, all 3, and with a preference, with indicating and working towards the preference that was indicated very clearly by the school committee. As folks should know, it was unanimously decided to move forward with the remote option. We're calling the Remote Plus option as our preferred. And that has all been successfully submitted to DESE. On next week, I'm sorry, on this Friday, August 7th, there will be a budget subcommittee meeting of the school committee that will be posted tomorrow. Just like you go to find the agendas for these meetings, those are posted in the same way. They're also public meetings. Folks are welcome to attend. It will be a deep dive into on the agenda into the budget itself, which is a public document. Which, if you go to the school committee page in the school district website, you can find from the Thursday, July 30th meeting last week, all of the materials, including the most recent budget documents, are there. If you wanted to attend, that's at 1:30 this Friday. Next week I'm getting feedback again. Sorry, people. Give me 1 second. Okay. Next week, Wednesday, the 12th of August, is our regularly scheduled school committee meeting for the month of August. That's at 6:30 p.m. The posting will be up no later than Monday afternoon. And that's our regularly scheduled school committee meeting for the month. On the 10th of, that's next Monday. Sorry, it's just a little out of order here. Our plans, our finished plans, something will happen with DESE. That's been that's been a date that they've indicated. Something will happen. Their timelines and their information isn't very clear. We've done what we've had to do up until now. We've far exceeded what the state has asked us to put together, and that's all moving forward is the point of that. One thing I learned from the superintendent today that people will, I think, be reassured about is that, as you can imagine, we're ordering tons and tons of supplies, and the supplies that we have been ordering, it's a little dicey. It's a little sketchy whether or not things will arrive on time, but we've learned that pretty much everything we've ordered in big supplies, including paper for kids to have at home who don't always have access to paper, those things have been ordered and confirmed that they'll be here, which is great. We're excited that things aren't on back order as it was looking in March and April when a lot of this thinking was happening and the ordering was happening. The next thing I want to just mention, and this is actually the end of my report, is that I want to talk just a little bit about a piece of the process for getting all of this into place that is often not talked about very clearly, and folks don't always understand how this piece works. But we have teachers and staff in the district who are unionized. And when an employee is unionized, they work under a contract. And when the conditions of those contracts change, it it is necessary to renegotiate in some ways the contract because the conditions have changed. And that's a process that we undertake for reasons all the time. It's not just because of COVID, but anyone who's been in a union may have heard of contract negotiations and also the concept of impact bargaining. When a contract changes when it's unexpected or there's a reorganization in a department, you may have to impact bargain what happens to the employees under that union contract. We are taking up that all the time. We've been doing that since March. We will continue to do that with both the teachers in Unit A and the staff in Unit C of the teachers contract. And we've received recently a request to bargain from the Greenfield Education Association, that's the union, and we're following up on that. We plan to start the process of a new contract negotiation because their contract is up for Unit A and I believe also up for Unit C. And right now, I would like to actually indicate I am appointing member Glenn Johnson-Musad as the negotiator for our Unit A contract and member Susan Ekstrom as the negotiator for our Unit C negotiations. And we've already received a request to bargain from the union, and we're going to move forward with the negotiations in that process. So that is the chair's report. And I'd like to now move into the agenda items for the evening. So the agenda for this evening is actually a continuation of our discussion from July 30.
My understanding is we don't have, there's no action needed on any of the items on the agenda tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So my motion is that we lay the rest of the agenda items on the table.
Okay, thank you. Member Johnson-Musad has a motion on the table to table our agenda items for this evening. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
A second from Member Wall. And I can't remember if discussion is allowed.
I forgot to check on that.
I can't remember if discussion is allowed. I don't think it is, but I will happily entertain discussion since we don't have clarification. Any discussion from the school committee members present on tabling the agenda?
Could you just review what's on the agenda that we're tabling?
Sure. The fall reopening plans, the changes to the school year calendar, and the fiscal year 21 budget update and discussion. Some of that, we made a lot of progress last Thursday that we couldn't anticipate that we would make, which was why this meeting was posted for tonight. But those things really can be either tabled forever or they can come back and live again on the meeting on the 12th next week. Any further discussion?
Can you clarify the motion? Are we tabling forever or just tabling for this meeting?
When something is tabled, there would be a motion at a later time to bring it back if necessary. Any further discussion?
One comment.
Member Hollins.
I'm sorry, I think we should keep budget.
We're having a budget meeting on Friday.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's move to a vote on this.
Okay, let's see. Am I muted or not?
No,
okay.
I can hear you.
All right, Member Karen.
Yes.
Member Hollins.
Yes.
Secretary Johnson-Musad, yes. Chair Prayati.
Yes.
Member Wall.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. where there is no need for an executive session this evening, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn at this time.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And there is no discussion on a motion to adjourn, that I know for sure. We are adjourned as of 6:46 p.m. Please join us next week. We will be meeting.
We
Except we need a roll call vote on the motion to adjourn.
Sorry, I got so excited. Shortest school committee meeting ever. I got so excited. Roll call.
Member
Do it up.
Karen,
Yes.
Member Hollins,
Yes.
Secretary Johnson Musad, I'm a yes. Chair Poyetty,
Yes.
Member Wall,
Yes.
that carries unanimously.
Wonderful. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned 6:47 p.m. Everyone go enjoy their evening and please join us next week on the 12th at 6:30. It will be posted very shortly. Everyone have a great night.